This question be controversial.
Okay, here we go with controversy on some Prince shit now. All right, let's go. Controversy.
You know, we're living in an era where the alphabet community is heavily.
Yeah, the LBG, whatever they call themselves. Yeah, LBGT community and the trans and all these other things going on. Yeah.
Can a homosexual be a father?
No, we don't. First of all, let me clear the record here. My wife, well, she ain't my wife anymore. She can't marry under the government per se, right? But yet we still do that for those who do it. Her brother, was that, in that realm, and I never condone that. And I would tell him, I don't condone your behavior. You know what I mean? That's not something I advocate. That's not something I'm on. You know what I mean? We don't advocate anything that goes contrary to what is natural. Now, some would say, well, yo, God, you know what I mean? That's kind of heavy, man. We say we ain't anti-white, we're not pro-black, but you're anti, you'll seem like you're homophobia. What you do is what you do. That's your life. But when you force that into the mindset of the young, now you're playing with another life, and that is not right and exact, right? Another thing, in my mind, for what I know about that world over there, in terms of what you read, what you see, and what you hear, it is something that people are choosing to do because they think that that's a part of a lifestyle. And some say that they were born that way. No, you was born a male or female, and you chose to go that route for whatever reason. Right? If that's your choice, that's your choice. I mean, again, we got to make choice of what works for us. That works for you, fine. I don't condone that, and I don't advocate that, right? Because I think that goes contrary to what is natural. Even the Bible says that is an unnatural act for two men and two women to be involved with each other in a promiscuous or sexual way, because it actually is another form of genocide. How can two men have a baby? How can two women have a baby? Now, of course, they get artificially inseminated, you know what I'm saying, or they'll adopt. But then that influence now plagues that young baby. And now what ends up happening, they becoming what they, are looking at. Is that right to force that type of mindset into a young baby's mind who is not that? And yet you're forcing that ideology in their head? No, that's not right. That's sticking pins in their head. You know what I mean? So I don't advocate that. So when you talk about does a homosexual or a lesbian, can that be 5%? No, because that goes contrary to what we acknowledge, right? Now, I had an experience, right? And I don't mind telling y'all, I'm in Atlanta at the time. We having, brothers and sisters come together for civilization classes and coming together as righteous people. And there's a bunch of lesbians in there. A lesbian asked me, I want to learn. I had to tell her, if that's your lifestyle, then the 5% is not your way of life. You can learn whatever you want on your own, but it won't be through me. You know what I mean? Because in order to be a 5%er, you got to have a certain lifestyle that's natural. You can't, talk about being a 5%er, because what is to be a 5%er in this day and time? You got to teach that the black man is the God. How are you going to teach that if you're a lesbian and you're against men? But yet you're dressing like a man, but you're against man. Something's not right with that. Mentally speaking, something's way out of line with that, right? So no, God, but now here's the catch-22, right? We'll have some posing as 5%ers, speak the language, wear the pen, wear the head wrap, and there'll be down low homosexuals, doing things that they're not supposed to be doing. And this is why back in my day, the heydays in the 80s, we would watch you, study your movement, study everything about you to see what you really on. Yeah, we did that. That's a fact for those who know. And we would make sure if that was you, you wouldn't be around long enough to influence nobody else in that mindset. And again, I'm not against if that's what you choose to do with your life, because it's your choice. What I'm against is when y'all trying to force feed this to the young as if that's normal, right? That's your normal. That's not the baby's normal. You know what I mean? Leave the babies alone. Grown adults that want to do that, that's your business. You want to go and whatever you do, then that's your business. Do that over there. But don't force feed that into the baby's mind. That's not right and exact and it's wrong. And now the government and anybody else, in terms of their rights, right? We know that that community is running a lot of things in the devil's world. Right? Music, fashion, TV, film. It's everywhere you look. I saw a commercial the other day, right? They had 2 black men, 2 white men, and a black woman and a white man. Where was the black couple in that? So media plays another important part to this. So no, God, not to be long-winded again, but if you are living that way of life, the culture of our God is not you, and it's not going to be a part of you if you can't mix that into this and think that because you got this knowledge, that's going to make you a 5%er. A 5%er is a poor righteous teacher who teach that the black man is God. Don't get caught up in the 10% world, because that's the 10% world and the 85% world. And if you are part of that world, claim you're a 5%er, that means that's a falsehood you live in. And for those that are living like that, I'm telling you, there's a consequence. Death is the consequence, right? And you see it, HIV and all these new diseases coming out. We don't know who's dealing with what, women dealing with men, men dealing with women, in the sense of some of them are even dealing with bestiality. I saw a white dude talking about when the first time I started having sex with an animal, I was like, yo, what? Yo, God word is born to my babies. I saw that the other day, a white dude. And you don't know if this white dude is now dealing with a black woman, and that black woman got all types of shit from the animal that he just screwed. Beast, yo, living a beast way of life. And they're force feeding that into the minds and into the psyche of young people using the medium to do it. So our job is even plentiful more than ever now to get these babies on right track, because we got a lot of things that's going against what we teach, as if our teaching is abnormal and what they're doing is normal.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So this is why, man, I'm very, for those that know me, I'm very cognizant, even more now, with all this stuff going on, man, because like I said, the devil's working overtime. And he's trying to maximize his mindset into the psyche of many. For those who haven't seen it, there's a bill that I asked the God to watch and draw up called The Conversations with the Devil. Make sure you go watch that and listen to what this devil is saying and how he uses the youth, women, and the media to create chaos, confusion amongst those in this world. And he's doing it. And it tells you in our lessons, he continues to do what daily? To teach the 85% that a mystery God bringing all this, when it's him that's doing it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no mystery about it if you paying attention to what he's doing. So no, for those that's in that world, you cannot be a 5%er in the sense of the word if that's the world you living in. The answer is no.